Ladies and gentlemen, Barry C here with another cryptocurrency video, and XRP is on the cusp of explosive price action. And one of the driving factors for that could very well be the XRP ETFs. Now, here's the thing, ladies and gents, the ETFs are the very first step in institutions getting involved in the accumulation of XRP. Because here's the thing, you've got the Bitcoin ETFs that did exceptionally well, but they took some time, small time, to actually see the price increase of Bitcoin, because all that money has to come in and stay in. And if you cast your mind back to 2023, the main sentiment around the Bitcoin ETFs was that they weren't really going to result in much. It was going to be a negative thing. Bitcoin wasn't going to go up in price. And the people that had conviction, who had accumulated and held and knew exactly what this meant for digital assets in the crypto space, after a couple of months, Bitcoin hit a new all-time high 12 months ahead of schedule. And the exact same thing will happen with XRP. There is a demand for the crypto and the technology that's going to change the way we conduct finance. And if you give these people and these institutions legitimate pathways of accumulation and access, pathways and a means that they understand via the ETFs, that's just the beginning. And this is XRP existing in a retail space. We're not even talking about mass global adoptions with banks and financial institutions. Now, the reason why people are so negative about all this and frustrated is because they put this level of determination and a really abrupt time frame on what the successful launch of XRP ETFs should have resulted in, not what they resulted in, should have. And so many people had this mindset of, well, the moment the XRP ETFs are launched, we're going to see 100x, 1000x, maybe even more. And of course it doesn't happen. The money has to come into XRP first and stay there. And once it stays there, that's when we see the price action. And here's the thing, ladies and gents, the harsh reality is the people who are looking at the ETFs that way, they're looking at XRP as a retail crypto investor. They're not thinking about it from an institutional level. Because the people at the institutional level, or the people who have the resources to accumulate the XRP ETFs, they're the ones that have got the time, the patience, and the resources. They're not going to be making small buys. They're going to be making massive, humongous buys. The accumulation is going to get out of control. And look, you've seen various videos and people posting about this notion of OTC accumulation and dark pools when it comes to the XRP ETFs, and about this idea of a very limited supply and the scarcity of XRP. Now, let's say even a fraction of that is true. If you see these people at an institutional level, or even people who have the wealth and means to accumulate massive amounts of XRP, if they continue to do so, then yeah, there's going to be a scarcity problem. There's going to be an accumulation and availability problem. And once again, this is just within a retail sphere. If you take institutional mass adoption into consideration, that's when the FOMO begins. That's when things get crazy. Because this is the way I look at it, ladies and gents, and this is not financial advice, but if the XRP ETFs are successful, that is showing that there is an institutional demand for XRP and the technology behind what XRP could do when it comes to changing the way we conduct finance. If that is the case, and we have that level of confidence and accumulation and demand, that's when I could see banks and financial institutions actually getting that green light to adopt cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And once they adopt that technology, once they get the go-ahead, they may sit back and go, hey, we'll try and create something, or we may try some stable coins, but ultimately the main crypto that they have successfully trialed for years and years and years is XRP. It's the cross-border payments, it's the on-demand liquidity, it's what XRP was designed to do, to be adopted by banks and utilized by banks worldwide. And so look, they may trial something else, but that's going to fail. It's not going to be able to handle the worldwide banking transactions that we see daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. They're not going to be able to handle millions and billions and trillions of dollars flowing directly through a blockchain that isn't XRP. And whether that happens immediately or whether they have to trial and error first, they will eventually settle on XRP. And once that happens, when all that money flows directly into XRP and stays flowing through it, that's when you're going to start seeing $100 XRP, $1,000 XRP, maybe 10,000, maybe 50,000, maybe more. Not financial advice, but, let's put some prices out there. Now, I'm not saying that those prices are absolutely going to happen, but you have to think about it. Every bank around the world, every financial institution, every transaction utilizing XRP's blockchain technology. Think of all that money flowing directly into XRP constantly. We're not talking about Bitcoin halving, post-halving bull run, XRP skyrockets every 4 years. We're talking about all that money because XRP has seen mass adoption by banks and financial institutions around the world. So all that money comes into XRP and it stays in XRP, which means the price of XRP skyrockets exponentially and it stays up there. It essentially stabilizes. If every bank around the world and every financial institution is utilizing XRP, there's no way it's staying at $3 or $5 or $10. Now, keeping in mind, go back to the ETFs. If you're saying to some of the wealthiest individuals out there, or even institutions, here's a technology that can change the financial landscape forever, they're not going to want to log on to a crypto exchange and sign up and buy some XRP in self-custody. They're going to turn to the financial institutions that they have utilized, that they trust the reputation of those institutions, and they're going to turn to them and say, how do I get access to this life-changing, institutional-changing, financial landscape-changing technology? And they're going to say, hey, we've got a BlackRock ETF for XRP, we've got a Fidelity XRP ETF, we've got a Grayscale XRP ETF. That is the starting pathway to institutional investing when it comes to XRP. That is the start of the utility run. And ladies and gents, not financial advice. This is just the reality of what's coming. And, people are going to sit there and go, nope, it'll never happen. It's already happening. We're already seeing the demand with the XRP ETFs. And the progression of that is banks and financial institutions finally adopting blockchain technology, finally adopting XRP. And when that happens, the price of XRP is not going to remain cheap. And ladies and gents, I'm not trying to create a false sense of urgency. I'm not saying rush out and make decisions. I'm just pointing out the pathway of where XRP could potentially go over the next 6 months, 12 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It may happen a lot sooner than we anticipate. It may take a little bit longer. Either way, it's happening. The pieces are in play. Things are happening. Partnerships are being made. ETFs are rolling out. It's looking like XRP will not only see that mass adoption, but it's going to see a price point that reflects that mass adoption. And not financial advice. You can sideline yourself. You can say that XRP could never possibly do these things. And look, that's your choice. Not everybody's going to see the future potential of XRP. But for those of us who have seen the potential, who understand what XRP was designed to do, that can see the future potential and possibility of where XRP could go with that mass adoption, the mass utilization, that's a very exciting place to be. Because then we can make decisions right now when XRP is very cheap. We can make decisions now that will pay off in the future. And like I said, ladies and gents, not everybody will see it. Not everybody will understand it. And that's okay. I hope everybody finds success in the cryptos that stand out to them. But for me personally, I've seen the potential of XRP back in 2017. And I have even stronger convictions now in 2025. And that's why I'm focusing on accumulating XRP while it's cheap. So when it does skyrocket in price, I'm not going to be FOMOing in at $100, $1,000, or maybe more. I'm going to position myself in the best position possible so when the price of XRP does skyrocket, I can actually make some life-changing profits. Now, ladies and gents, as always, none of this is financial advice. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you're curious about the other cryptos I hold outside of XRP, consider becoming a Patreon. Click the link in the description below, head across to my Patreon page, and consider becoming a Barry C VIP. There you'll have access to all my portfolios, all the cryptos I hold, as well as my buy, sell, and take profit signals in real time.